Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Centurion Leadership Battalion podcast, your source of accountability, inspiration, and motivation to become your best and reach your fullest potential every day. Our motto, it's simple: to use our determination to crush our everyday leadership tasks so that we dominate in our delivery of services and products to our clients and achieve victory and personal growth, profitability, and creating environments for those around us to prosper. Let's get this show started. Hey everyone, and welcome to another Centurion Leadership Battalion podcast. This is another one-on-one or WOW time with me, win on Wednesdays, if you will. Tonight I want to talk about the blame game. I think that's where we're going to talk about this. I don't know exactly what the title is going to be, but it'll probably come out as we do the podcast. But I definitely am going to talk about the blame game, and I'm going to talk about this habit we formed as leaders or individuals where we so easily take something that's not going our way or anything and that we blame other people. And so we're going to talk about this on today's one-on-one, today's Win on Wednesday. I was going to talk about leaving a healthy lifestyle, but I think that this is probably about as healthy as you can get. You want to be healthier in 2022. You want to live mentally healthier. You want to address things. You got to stop blaming everyone else for what's going on. So this is going to be called the players in the blame game, because we are the players in the blame game. And there is no game or blame game if we're not blaming anyone and we're not around people who play the blame game, okay? Let me tell you a lot of blaming that goes on. Blaming is when something happened to me or something happened historically to my family that I then turn around and blame everyone else for, because there's similarity between the person that did it and the person that's doing it. That's like me going back to episode 12, anyone who's listening in, and every time a man comes in and grabs my arm, I accuse them of molesting me because they touched me when I didn't want them to. Because it happened to me as a kid. There's a disassociation there of safety that we sometimes put on safety. It doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it wrong, but we've got to stop blaming other people where blame doesn't belong. I get it. I get the abuse. I get the wrongs that have been done in your life. I get all the problems. I get that there are things that have been done bad to all of us, but if we blame everyone else, we never take responsibility for making a change and making our situation better. I'm not saying it's your fault for what happened. I'm just saying you can make sure it doesn't happen again. You can make sure you become stronger because of it, and you can start taking responsibility and blaming everyone else for what happened. Like, yes, it wasn't your fault to what happened. But blaming other people and then using something that happened in your past to negatively affect people because you're doing something that's not right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go get therapy and all that, but we take things, we take scars, and we mistreat people. And we blame people for not handling the situation ourselves. If we're afraid to get up and lead, we blame it on that our coworker's not manageable, or they won't follow the rules. Why won't you just make me a leader? Well, okay, what? It's my fault you're not leading? You know, who's in charge here? That's my favorite. Well, it's pretty obvious who's in charge. It's the blame game. And employees and society is getting more and more used to it. It's coming into my household. It's coming into my relationships. This thing that we are doing in this negative spin as society, where we blame everyone else for the things that we are responsible. We just went through the government responsibility, the corporate responsibility, and the personal responsibility over the last 3 Q&As. You know, and I think there's one more coming. Maybe I'm out of order. But that all being said, it is a little bit ridiculous that we blame everyone and anything for our problems. The government, our family members, our own spouses, our children. Oh, I could have had a great life, but then you came along and I stopped having fun. Like, come on, be real. Live with your decisions. Stop blaming everyone else for them. Be happy with them. And my favorite is stop questioning everyone else's decisions because you have the inability to do them because you can't make one yourself. If you can't make one yourself and you need control to feel safe and you can't make a decision, but you get mad at everyone else for making a decision, you've missed the point. Like, leadership is not about control. It's not about forcing people or how many people you manage. It's not about any of those things. It's about how you earn things. And it's not about whether you raise your voice or don't raise your voice or you're mean or not mean, right? Because regardless on what side you are, someone's always going to think you're mean. Someone's always going to think you're nice. And that's my other favorite one is everything, no matter what it is, no matter what an argument is, you're mean. Okay, what does that have to do with the argument? I'm mean. Yes, I am mean. Good. Let's move on. I am a mean person. You're right. I will use my meanness to fight evil. Great. I will use my meanness to fight tyranny. I will use my meanness to fight anyone who's trying to be a dictator or a despot or whatever, or trying to control me or take advantage of me. You're right. I use meanness to protect myself because at some point, nicety and getting someone to back off and trying to get the police involved, it works to a point. But everyone else can do only so much. And most of the time, the police are reacting to something that's happened, not to the actual incident. So stop blaming everyone else and start stepping up. I get it. We're too afraid being labeled and blamed for everyone else's problem. And we take on the responsibility now because we're so caring. It's not our fault. We didn't do it. Stop taking on the blame also. Stop the blame game. Stop taking on the blame. Stop blaming other people for your problems. Stop letting other people blame you for their problems. It doesn't work. No one is responsible for anyone else. I can do more. I can go the extra mile. I can live by the golden rule. But I do not have to. It is free will and it is my choice and it is every person's choice. I cannot force someone to be nice or work harder or whatever. I can try to inspire them and motivate them. I can use scare tactics, but I can tell you that forcing people to work for tens of thousands of years like we did for slavery did not do anything for work ethic. Nothing against anyone, but who wants to work in a society that beat them down? We've got to do better. Sorry. I agree. Like, there's a lot of things that we ignore. There's a lot of things that we need to address. It's no one's fault. We just need to do a better job. We messed up in the past. We just need to say, I am sorry. As a society, we messed up. We need to do better. We don't need to overcorrect the mistake and go so far the other direction. Now we're having biased and racism and stuff in other directions in this example, or we blame people so much that they lose their job unfairly because we gang up on them, and we get everyone in the staff to gang up on them because everyone blames them for what they're not doing, and a person loses their job unfairly. That's just as bad, guys. Or here's my favorite in food service now. Blame that we don't have staff. Blame. Yet people are starving. People are not getting their food, and in the healthcare system, people are dying because of it. They're COVID. They're already compromised. So I don't feel like it. I don't feel like going to work. It's not my time. Fuck it. I'm going to talk to the manager. I don't have to work. Good, guys. Because I can't tell you I never wanted to get behind the mic and do this. It was about entrepreneurs and positivity. And all of a sudden now I have a mic in my hand. And I'm watching a problem. And I'm like, I've got to talk about this. We're all doing it. You think you're not doing it? Watch your actions. Who are you blaming for your stuff? Or here's even better. Who are you defending that has nothing to do with you? They don't need you to defend them. Okay? If someone's really being wronged and can't do it themselves, that's a different situation. But every person on the street deserves dignity to be able to protect themselves and the ability to figure it out. I get it. Step in. Don't turn a blind eye. Keep an eye on it. Whatever. But at some times, you do not need to step up for every person. Yes, you need to be the protector of the beaten and the damned. You need to go and fight it in society. But you also need to give someone the ability to fight it on their own. I know it's a juggling act, but if they can't fight it on their own, you're never going to be there all the time to fight it for them. And if a person can't stick up for their own and do it on their own, and you step in and try to make it right and do justice and gang up on someone else, yes, it's the right thing to do. And getting someone out of a bad situation, you should do that, especially if it's abusive. But ganging up on someone unfairly because of something that's going on or something that's going on with you, or because you don't like the way someone's doing it, or because someone's performing better, or because you haven't done a 360, those things are wrong, and that's blaming someone for something that's not done, and that's making you feel better by blaming someone else. I don't care what it is. I don't care how things work. I see it all the time in business. People carry their childhoods, their trauma, their drama into the workplace, and they think that no one sees it. Everyone sees it, just not you. Everyone sees my shit, just not me. Guaranteed that I don't like it, but they see it. Although I'm pretty sure everyone sees that I'm a pretty passionate person and I have a temper, because I believe in doing the job. You get paid to do a job, do the job. It's ridiculous how we think we get paid and then we negotiate our job. Hello? How is this real? We get paid and then it's a negotiation to do the job? Like, negotiating with people to do their job is unbelievable. And then blaming everyone else for not doing it is a problem. So in this particular case, what I'm saying and why I'm fired up right now is because I can't fucking take it anymore. It's not the referee's fault. It's not the coach's fault. It's not the captain's fault. It's not your teammates' fault. It's not your business owner's fault. It's your fault. You're the only one you have control over. Stop blaming everyone else. Stop playing the blame game. It's ridiculous. And it is killing our culture and our society. Not only in the United States, but probably the world. We think we're entitled and we deserve more than we've ever fucking earned. And we're going to entitle ourselves right into extinction. And people think I'm joking. $1 billion Band-Aid in the United States does not fix the trillions of dollar problem in food we've created. It was someone else. It was bad policy. We messed up. Blame, blame, blame. No, like, we just what? No, you need to be accountable. You're fucking up really bad. Great, throw $1 billion at it. What does money do? What do we all know when we throw money at problems? We learn it every day, yet we support a government that does it. Or governments. So I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to bring down the government. I'm not saying democracy doesn't work, or any government for that matter. I'm just saying we need to stop blaming each other, looking to the government for the solutions, stop blaming the government, stop blaming the corporations, and start blaming myself. It is my fault. It's just like I'm doing the podcast. I can stand up and have a voice. I can do more. And I don't think I'm doing it to anyone's harm. I'm not hurting anyone, not intentionally. And I'm not arguing with anyone, and I'm certainly not trying to get everyone to argue. I'm just trying to get everyone to open their minds and think on their own. And blaming someone else for your problems will never help you grow. Blaming another country, blaming coronavirus, blaming COVID. Shit, everyone's dealing with supply chain issues. Everyone's dealing with labor issues. The blame game doesn't work. Step up. So if you want to wake up on this Wednesday, stop letting everything be an excuse. Stop trying to let the definitions of society give you the reason or confidence to be who you are. You don't need it from society. You don't need someone else to define you. You don't need a category. You don't need a definition, and you don't need pronouns. I get it. You want all of them, and there's justice in the world and equal rights. I understand. But if you're not going to do it for yourself, the government doesn't do it in the right way, and eventually someone's going to come to power and abuse what's already been done. That's what we don't understand, and that's what we're not learning from history. We can talk about the current presidents, but it was the presidents before them that gave them the power that they have now, and it was the people in the United States, for example, in this case, that gave them those powers and voted for them. Again, our fault. Our fault if we don't change it. The blame is inside each one of us, not someone else. And as long as we keep looking for someone else or God to just die and fix all of our problems or us to always be saved, we don't need to do the right thing. And no matter what we do, we're going to be okay. It's just not true. Right? Yes, can we all of our souls be saved? Yes, do we all stand a chance? Yes, do we all stand a chance to be good? Yep. Doesn't mean we all are. Doesn't mean we all make that choice. And blaming other people for your problems, blaming other people for things that happened in your childhood that have nothing to do with them, blaming people for bad things that happen to you in your relationships when you bring them to work, that's wrong. And you're taking something that someone didn't do and you're blaming it for it, and you're causing harm to someone. When you do it publicly or you do it to that person or that person doesn't understand why you're doing it. I get it, there's abuse in the world and we need to be aware and people don't need to be mistreated. But guys, when did we become so sensitive that we can't even have a conversation or raise a voice without it being racist or sexist or whatever? It shouldn't be a card we play, and we can't throw out the abuse card all the time either. It's an argument. It has nothing to do with it. We're trying to build a society. What happened to us individually does not mean what happened to society. What happened to me as a kid and being molested, as you can hear in episode 12, has nothing to do. It's not society's fault. It's man's fault. And it's within me to take responsibility for what is my part. And my part is to realize it happened to me, talk about it so other people realize they're not alone, and hopefully get a group of voices together. And the louder we talk, the more we're fighting against this sort of weird, insane, thing on child pornography and child thing like that on top of everything else. So you can blame it. Oh, people want it and we're consumers and prostitution's okay in some places. Yeah, but there's rules and morals and ethics and everything. We have to define them. And children still, no matter what, are off limits. Period. What the fuck don't we understand about that? I get it, working to put food on the table, but things that damage the person's for life, their emotions, their soul, sorry. I can make a different arguments. I don't want anyone to have to work, not get an education or whatever, but I would rather they have food on the table. But I'm not saying they should be child prostitutes. That's not what I'm saying. Balance within the argument. We blame each other for the problems in the United States. We blame each other for class issues, money, work opportunities, sexual discrimination, racial discrimination, all of it, but it's really our fault. There's no one to blame. The government can fix it. The government can exert more power if we allow it, sure. But the government's never going to fix it regardless of it's a law if we don't fix it ourselves internally. And we stop blaming everyone and looking to the government to fix it because we blame someone else. What is it that I can do to sell myself better, my cause? What is it that I'm doing to market myself better? How am I presenting that on social media? Am I blaming people, or am I being positive and trying to make a difference and looking at how I can get everyone inclusively involved? Because humanity, it's not about including someone in this class or including someone in that one and excluding them from this and excluding them from that. It's about the overall survival of us as humans. and we don't take it seriously enough. So we need to realize that blaming others and the players of the blame game need to stay players in the blame game. And we, as entrepreneurs and leaders and future leaders in our communities or whatever we are, maybe not only as entrepreneurs, I know I have a mixed audience all over the board, but whatever we're doing, the leadership is going to require us to stop blaming other people. Because if you can't take responsibility for something, or you're waiting for God to come fix something, for example, you're never taking ownership and control of your life to go make a difference. Like, you need to exert your free will. You need to know that your manifestations, the things you focus on, the things that you do every day, become to fruition. As long as we blame someone for what's not happening, we can't fix it, because we can't fix someone else. Blaming someone else means that we're saying it's out of our control. We can't fix it. They have all the power. I blame them. I blame the person that did it to me, or I can't move forward. I blame the people in my current life for the thing that happened to me as a kid, and therefore I can't move forward. How are you going to move forward if you do nothing but blame people? You're never taking responsibility to grow. Yes, what happened to me being molested by someone is not my fault. But what I do with it and the responsibility I take and how I live it, and whether I lead it positively or negatively, that is on me. That is my fault in what I do with it, good or bad. So I'm not going to blame anyone for happening to me. It's not my parents' fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's society's fault in some ways. It's life's fault. It's just bad things happen to good people. It's just the way it is. And you can either become a bad person also, or an evil person, or unfortunately you can become a good person who has a dark side or a mean side that uses it to fight evil. And unfortunately, the good, pure people in the world honestly don't have the heart and the courage and the moral and ethics to go fight evil. Because standing up and pacifying and always doing the right thing ultimately leads to groupthink, and a group so large that everyone just buckles under the pressure. Because they have to fit in. Because as humans, we want to fit in more than anything. We don't want to be exiled. So if that's important to us, stop blaming everyone else. Take personal responsibility. Take ownership. We talk about it a lot in the podcast. How can I succeed if it's everyone else's fault? I have nothing to work on then. I am perfect. I might as well be a god. It's ignorant to think that we are not here to grow. Every animal on this planet grows. Even my dog knows he's getting too old to jump on the bed. It hurts. He learned. Go Brutus. I love you, dog. Literally. But I think that I see it in my relationships. I see it in the people I work with. I see it in more and more entrepreneurs. There's so much blame, and it's everyone else's fault or COVID's fault. And 2 years later, 3 years later, 150,000 years later, as humans, we still have this tendency to blame everyone else for our shortcomings or our unsuccessfulness. You can change it. It's true, you're probably unsuccessful right now. If you're listening to this podcast, that would give you a reason to listen to it. Probably. You're looking for a way to lead yourself in whatever. But the first step, guys, it goes back to this core value we're working on this. Mediocrity is born, go the extra mile. What does that mean? Stop blaming others for the things that you should be doing. Everyone blames everyone else. The government, the corporations, blah, 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 blah. Their parents, their body type, whatever. Just accept it, own it, embrace it, and use it as a superpower and figure out how to bring it out. I'm a passionate guy. I have a temper. I'm also tend to be very passionate and well-read. I'm not really talkative. That came out in the podcast. I don't really know how to put a can on it. But now I'm a passionate guy on a podcast who's got lots of followers and growing downloads, who obviously has a lot of people that see the need for leadership just like I do. And so you are not alone. I know there's thousands of us. I see the messages. I see the downloads. I appreciate it. But I hope everyone realizes that being a leader means stop blaming everyone else and start taking responsibility. And it doesn't matter the way another person acts. It's not your responsibility to correct it. It's theirs. Again, we take on too much, we blame others, and we lose the goal of it all and the cooperation when we use blame. It's your fault. It's your fault society is bad. It's your fault there's racism. Well, can we have a real conversation before that comes up? It's your fault for sexism. What you just did is the whole reason there's racism. Are you serious? They're not relevant comments most of the time. And no, it isn't that way. If anything, most people today are trying to be embraced and inclusive and just have their voice heard because they're afraid of being drowned out because no one listened before. It's okay. We should listen. We should let them market and be entrepreneurs. Everyone. Even if it doesn't agree with your point of view, there should be the opportunity to grow, raise a family, build a legacy, and build a dynasty, regardless of what it looks like. Can't imagine what the hardship's like, but they're going to go through it, and it's no one's fault because we're choosing the hardships in our life. We get to choose the path. And I get it, we're not all given the same start or the same intelligence or the same body or the same athleticism or whatever, but we're created with the same soul and the freedom to think and the free will to go get what we want, to move to a different country, county, to leave our parents, to leave our spouses, to change our circumstance at any point and stop blaming everyone for what we don't have and looking for a reason and excuses not to be happy. Stop blaming everyone and you will be happy because you'll figure out that it's inside of you to make a difference. And the minute you start making a difference and moving forward, you're going to have confidence. And guess what? Then other people are really going to blame you. And that's the crazy part. When you stop blaming other people, there's a crazy thing that happens where people start blaming you all the time. Because I think if you're not blaming anyone else, then you must be blaming yourself. And even though you can take responsibility here and there for what is your part, there's individuals who just want to blame, and they're going to blame you no matter what. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do the right thing. I can tell you it's frustrating. I lose my temper sometimes because it's interesting when you admit a small part of your part sometimes, or where it is your part, how people then turn it into how it's all your part or all your fault. But that's the blame game, right? The more we blame, the less we stay the same. The more we stay the same. The more we blame, the more we stay the same. The less we blame, the less we stay the same. That's the truth. You blame, you don't grow. You stay the same. So thank you, everyone, for listening in. I appreciate it. And enjoy your Wednesday. Kick some ass. Thanks, everyone. And also, find us on social media at Justin Bizzarro. Thanks for all the sharing, all the social media, all the stuff on Primal Rock. I love all of you guys. Thanks for all the support and the downloads. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to, more questions from you guys also. So please, for a Q&A, keep sending in the questions. I love them.